now that you can see the presentation, I'm going to begin by introducing myself to you. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Diana Sekaja Bagarukayo. I'm an economist, but I'm also an education specialist. I'll tell you a bit about myself and why in particular I'm doing this Zoom today. My background is in economics, but I spent a lot of time working in the education sector. So we are the people who are working in the background with NGOs, with international organizations, and a lot of the work that I focused on was designing education programs. So one of the things I've worked on is the new secondary curriculum was one of the projects I worked on. Construction of schools in Karamoja, bursary scholarships under Fawe for girls, teacher training. I've worked closely with the Ministry of Education, but a lot of my work has been with development partners, like the World Bank, the Irish Aid, who typically fund education programs in Uganda. So my passion is really for education, is for children, is for ensuring that we're able to offer the best quality of education to the children in our country. And one of the things that has been on my heart for a long time is to work with parents and guide them in educating their children. Because what I see now with a lot of the corporate parents in Kampala or in Uganda today, people are really gambling with what their children need. We're all gambling with what our children need. The times when we went to school, we basically had the national curriculum. The times when I went to school, there was not much of the accelerated education curriculum. There was not too many international schools. But now we're in a time where people really have a lot of choice. So deciding on which curriculum your child takes, which school, when they go to boarding school, there's so many choices. And one of the things that I'm contributing to, and I would love to contribute, is to guide parents on making informed choices for the education of the children. Because the children that we have in our homes are actually the future presidents, the future ministers, the future members of parliament, the future business owners. And we have been given that duty to guide them and to prepare them for the roles they're going to have. So I'm very passionate about education, and hence the reason why I'm doing this Zoom and sharing my knowledge of 20 years or so working in the education sector. I'm a founding member for an organization called Inzani Creative Hub, and I will share a bit about it as we go. But one of the key things that we do at Inzani is to skill young people in particular with creative hands-on skills. So Inzani Creative Hub does a number of things, but one of the things that we focus on is young people and having practical education for them, hands-on program, teaching them how to make jewelry, soap, how to recycle materials, because many people are gifted differently. And there's also a group of people whose gifting is with their hands. So at Inzani Creative Hub, we focus on those who are interested in learning hands-on skills, either as a business, a hobby, or just adding onto the skills and knowledge that they have. I'm a founding member of Phenomenal Women Global, which some of you, I think, are joining from the links from Phenomenal Women Global. And this is a women's organization that aims at building the capacity of women and empowering women through mentoring, through training, and through motivating and encouraging women to be the best that they can. And we're based both in Uganda and Switzerland. We have an annual conference every year in both of those countries, as well as doing training programs on entrepreneurship and leadership. I'm a BNI member, Business Network International, which is an international organization with that also has a branch here in Uganda. And as a member of that network, I'm part of the education service team. And lastly, I do a lot of consulting on education for those who are interested in starting schools, who already have schools and want to improve their schools, who are looking to do education projects in their communities, NGOs or international organizations. So that is ADEWA. And that's basically what I do professionally and passionately. But most importantly, I am a wife. Most importantly, I am a wife. I hear people these days saying to one man or to a man, but I am a wife. I am a mother of beautiful one boy and four girls, beautiful children. And I am an author of a book called Dream It Possible. And Dream It Possible is basically a life planning guide. So something that I'm passionate about is people planning and organizing their life because there's so much that we can achieve in this world, but many times we're not organized enough to even begin to reach our full potential. So that book is available if you're interested in reading it. It's a life planning guide, as well as it has very many templates on visioning, on setting your plans and setting your goals, etc. So that is me in a nutshell. I thought it was important for you to know who is talking to you so that you can kind of place what I'm saying. So I have the education background, but most importantly, I'm also a parent here. And I think I'm here to share with you, but also to be on a learning journey with you. So I'm going to make a short presentation and then hopefully we have time for some discussion as well. All right. And if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Sandra, who is assisting, is online and we shall look at them after. Or if you want to interrupt during the presentation, please feel free to do that. Yeah, to raise your hand and contribute. So beyond the report card, I hope we're together and I'm clear and audible. Please send me a thumbs up. It feels very lonely when you can't see people's faces. So just keep sending me thumbs up so that I know that we're together and my network hasn't failed. Yeah? Are we together? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the topic that I said today is beyond school reports. Beyond the school reports. If your children are in local schools, we've been going through a season of results being released. We had P7 results released, we had S4 results released, we had S6 results released, and many times it seems that school is only about the academic performance. Once those results are out, parents are under pressure, children are under pressure, looking for schools, looking for places. And many times I feel that results judge us. They judge the child. Sometimes it can be really harsh, especially if your child has not performed at the highest level that they expect or that you expect. It can be harsh on them emotionally, psychologically. So there's a lot of pressure at this time. And I thought it was important for us to look at what is it beyond the report card. Because all of us who are here know many of us here were not A students. And many of the A students we know are not necessarily the top people in society. They're not necessarily the biggest businessmen or leading in the top organizations. So education is important and the A's are important, but there's a lot that makes up who you become beyond your grades at school. So I wanted us to look beyond the report card of your child. The school is a place where they go to learn academically, where they go to learn socially as well. But a lot of the learning actually happens at home. there are many things that the school will not teach your child. Because imagine our schools, some of us, our children are in schools where there are 3,000 children. What is the expectation that they're going to learn everything at school deliberately? What is the expectation that the teacher knows my child personally and knows their habits and their temperaments and their likes? The chances are very small. So education really takes place 80% from the home. And yet, as I had shared in my note, we know that the children only spend about 100 days fully at home because 260 days are at school. And then the 100 are at home. Even if they're not in boarding school, you know that normally there's this routine. So, children are busy during the term and they may not be as much time to spend with them. So let's look beyond the report card. You've received the report of your child, you've looked through it. Please recognize where the effort that they have put in, where they have got A's and B's and, where they have got good grades. Appreciate that. Where they haven't performed so well, understand what the issue might be. Is it the teacher? Is it their notes? Do they need extra help? We need to have those conversations with our children. So we should really see the report as a conversation starter. Don't see it as a judgment of what your child has done only, but it's a conversation starter to see where can you support this child. In addition to the subjects, there's always a comment on their participation in sports, on their participation in class. I must say that sometimes these comments are very generic. I know that many of the schools, because of the pressure and all that, have generic comments for some of the children, unless your children had a particular challenge at school. So the report card is the conversation starter. Let's not be those aggressive parents who immediately say, lie down because the performance was poor. But first understand your child. Because while the child is at school, they're also going through so many things. They're going through so many things, and we'll touch a bit on that as I go. So let's look beyond the school card, report card. Why isn't it moving? Oops, that's closed. Okay, just give me a second. That's closed. Okay. I hope the screen is back up clearly to everybody. Sandra, can you see the screen clearly? I don't know why it closed.
Yes, it's on.
Okay. All right. So one of the things with parenting that we need to also understand is that all of our children are different. Even if you have twins are not the same. Every child that you have is different, but also as parents, we're very different. And one of the things that we need to do is to, first of all, understand who we are as parents. We have different types of parents, and we will not go into all the details, but I want you personally to self-reflect on who you are as a parent and what your parenting style may be. Because many of us were influenced by our own parents, we were influenced by how we were brought up, and yet we know that times are different. When we were brought up, for example, when I grew up, we only had, I think, UBC, and yet now children are on Netflix, they're on YouTube, they're on all kinds of things. So the exposure is different. People know what's happening around the world. Our parents grew up in harsh times. Many of them didn't have shoes when they went to school. These children that we're bringing up right now are very different. So we need to, first of all, look inside and say, who am I as a parent? What is my parenting style? And we're going to look at the parenting styles because parenting has gone beyond just providing for the children. It's beyond just paying school fees for them. Parenting now is more about presence. It's more about being present for your child, being able to guide your child, being able to love your child, and not only provide for them physically in terms of the school fees. So, as your assignment or as you listen to me, please reflect on what kind of parent am I? What kind of parent did I see growing up? And what kind of parent does my child need? These are the different parenting styles that exist. We have authoritative parents. And many of us, I think the majority of people in my age bracket, grew up with authoritative parents because that is what they knew at the time. Authoritative parents can be warm but firm. So they're different from authoritarian parents. Yeah. Authoritative, you're in control, you're able to set rules, you're able to guide, you're able to set structures for your child. That is an authoritative parent. An authoritarian parent is one who is more strict and controlling. I have said, get off your phone. I have said, go to bathe. I have said, do your homework. That is an authoritarian parent. You feel you don't owe it to them to give them explanations. You don't owe it to them to hear their own reasoning and maybe what they're going through. So that is an authoritarian style. And you need to be aware when I was saying, look at your parenting styles. This is a personal reflection. What kind of parent are you? Are you authoritative, warm but firm? Are you authoritarian, strict and controlling? Or are you permissive? Now, a permissive parent is one who loves the children so much that they fear to even set any boundaries because you think that, oh no, my children will hate me, or no, the children are young, or the children, can set their own timetables. That is really a permissive parent, you know. Boundaries are not very strict. You believe that the children have a voice, they know what to do, and basically you leave a lot of leeway for them to do a number of things. That is a permissive parent. And these are researched and definitions of parenting styles. Neglectful, many times these are parents who are emotionally disconnected. And those are the parents that I was telling you who feel like, because I have paid fees, go to school, do well. Everything else, I've paid fees, I've done your shopping, that's it. But they have not learned how to connect emotionally. And many times you cannot blame the parents completely. It sometimes depends on their background and how they grew up and whether they are able to connect, with different people. So healthy parenting is having a balance because one, you don't want to be a very permissive parent where everything goes, you allow everything. Someone wants to pierce their belly button, it's okay. You want to pierce your nose, it's fine. You're sick today, you don't feel like going to school. Are you really sick? You don't want to necessarily be a permissive parent, but then again, you don't want to be an authoritarian parent where when you enter the house, your children feel they need to leave. Or when you enter the house, your children suddenly become quiet, yet the whole day they were playing music and dancing. So we're not going to go through it now, but just for you to self-reflect, what kind of parenting style do I have? And who am I? And many parents have different styles for different children. So also review that. Am I authoritative to all my children, or is it one particular child? And what kind of parent do I want to be? I think I've elaborated on that. Um, so let me move on to the next slide. Okay, the next slide is on the type of children. As I said earlier, one, we want to look at ourselves to see what kind of parents we are. But secondly, we want to look and see what type of children do we have. And my advice to you parents on this call is please use this holiday to understand your children if you don't already, or to get to know them better. Because as I said, all the children are different. We have some children who are strong-willed, you know, you cannot break their spirit. They are vocal. They know what they want. They are sometimes aggressive. They are go-getters. We have those children, and their needs are different. And then we have children who are sensitive, you know. Any single word you tell them, they react, they respond, they feel judged. They feel judged by their peers. Any negative comment on their report, they think you hate them, you know. This is the reality. I hope I'm speaking to people who have seen this. I hope I'm speaking to you. We have children who are quiet naturally. And there's no need to say, be like your brother, speak up, speak up. No, some children are quiet. It's in their genes, it's in their blood. Yes, we can spur out something in them, but some children are quiet, some are active. So we have different types of children, and not every child will respond to you in the same way. So authoritarian parent, if you come and you direct and instruct a strong-willed child, that child would probably argue with you. That child would probably feel like they're not being listened to. Those are the kind of children who run away from home, you know? So what style do you use with your strong-willed child? At the same time, with your sensitive child, how should you talk to them? Should you then lower your voice, or should you command, you know? Because we contribute to the mental health of our children, we contribute to the wellness of our children, and home needs to be a safe place for them where they can build, where they can be understood. So let's bear in mind, if you have your children, write down their names on a piece of paper and ask yourself, what kind of child is this? Are they sensitive? Are they strong-willed? Are they active? You know, how do they respond to me? How do they respond to me when I direct them to do something? How do they respond to me when I ask them politely? Let's do that assignment, and please take notes as we go. Now, getting deeper into the presentation, and I still want to say, are we together? Please, thumbs up so that I know that we're together. Okay, great. Getting deeper into the presentation, as I said, we have 260 days in the year, but we only spend 100 days with our children. And home is their safe space. Home is the space for them to grow. So how can we effectively use these 100 days? So I'm going to give you 3 tips. I'm going to give you 3 tips today, which you can use during this holiday. One, I would like you to love your children deeply. And I know you already do. And, you know, nobody needs to tell you to love your children. But what is the definition of love? Do they feel it? Do they see it? Do they appreciate it? And why is it important for them to know that they are loved? As I said, home is our safe space. We're in a world today where there's so much happening. There's so much happening around us. There are so many voices that the children are listening to. They're on TikTok, they're on Snap. There's so many people speaking into their lives, and we don't know who all these people are. We have no control on who our children listen to. You cannot follow your child everywhere. You're not with them in class. You're not with them when they go to the bathroom. You're not with them, when they go to the canteen. So we don't know who is speaking into them. But as parents, our responsibility is to love them, let them know that they are loved, let them know that they have somewhere to run to, let them know that in case of anything, you are there. So, number one, love them deeply. And love here is, well, we have the definition, which is in Corinthians, love is patient, it's kind, it keeps no record of wrong. Though that's an excellent definition. Please go back and read it of what love is. But during the holiday, the time to show love and for your children to feel love is by building an emotional connection with them. We are in a day and age where many times it's difficult to connect emotionally with our children. It's easier to connect with, I find it easier to connect with very young children, maybe below the age of 10 years. But beyond 10, you're getting into the teenage age, the preteen, you're getting into the young adults. Many times the emotional connection, if you don't make an effort to keep it, begins to dwindle out. So we need to connect with our children, and practically how we can do this is by spending time together. So love is time, love is connection. How do we spend time together? And I'm going to ask that I hope you have your notebook or you can reflect later and we'll share the presentation. But how much time do you spend with your children? We're all busy, we're career people, we're working, we're out, up and down. But what is your time to connect to your children? And there are some practical things that you can do. You can pray daily, you can pray together, you can eat together. This is an important one. I always assumed people always eat together until I was shocked the other day to say, no, no, no. In some homes, everyone eats on their own, depending on the time you arrive and what you're doing. So you can be in a home and actually never meet each other because you're walking around as if you're in a hotel. But take time to eat together if you can, breakfast or dinner or evening tea. Take time to talk daily. One of the things that my husband introduced to our family, which was earlier on in our marriage, which I found very interesting, was best and worst. So every day when we sit together to have dinner, we share what our best and worst thing of the day was. And we go around the table. Now, this might seem like a very simple activity, but what it does is, one, it gives you time to understand what did your child do that day? How was their day? What worked out for them? What was the best thing that happened to them? And then what was the worst? And sometimes when you listen to the worst, it's something that you can solve, that you can advise, that you can laugh about. So a small activity like that of just sharing what was the best thing that happened to you today or what was the worst thing is simple, but it builds a bond with the children. It shows them that you care and that you're listening. If you have gadgets at home, you have phones at home, another thing you need to do is to try and have phone-free moments. So we have a basket in the house, and many times we just have to tell the kids, get off your gadgets, bring the phones to the basket, because otherwise everybody's on their phone, they're plugged in earphones, they are on tabs. So gadget-free moments where by 8 p.m. we're off gadgets, we're cooking food, we're eating, we're laughing, and we're spending time together. So love your children. I know you love your children. And those are the practical activities. I hope you can see them. I've already spoken about them. Share a meal. If you cannot do it daily, do it weekly. Pray together. You can go for walks together. Tomorrow, I think, is a public holiday. It's an excellent time to spend with your children and to bond. The last thing I want to say about loving your children is date each and every one of your children individually. I have already said the children are different. So let's not bandwagon them. Let's not always spend time as the group. Many times you have to have a one-to-one with each child because many times the outspoken child can dominate the quiet child, and you actually don't see what's happening with the quiet child or you don't hear them. So spend one-on-one dates with each of your child. You can take them for lunch. You can sit outside with them, but have that one-to-one time with each and every one of your child so that they know you, they get to know you, they spend time with you, and it's not always a group thing, but each child is different. Okay, so that was the first point, love them deeply. And I know we're running out of time. The second one was guide them with clear explanations. As I said before, times have changed. We're no longer in the days We're no longer in the days that our parents were in, where they just said, do, and we do, we do. Now children want to know why, but why, but why? They've been in schools where their teachers are reasoning with them. They're on the competence-based curriculum, which is telling them to be proactive, to speak up, to have an opinion. Then they come home and they can't receive an explanation for everything. So my advice to you and what we're trying to do differently is to say, let's give time, guide our children, but with clear explanations. So there are three things which take up or make up guiding your children and which are our role as parents. And during this holiday, there are three things that you need to do. One is instruct them, teach them, and counsel them. And each of those three is very different. Instructing is basically for things which need to get done. I need you to clean your room. I would like you to make dinner. I need you to do your homework. Those are instructions. They are clear. They're clear instructions. They're things we're requesting or telling or using your authoritative side to instruct your children. There are times you need to teach your children. You actually need to show them. You need to do it with them. For example, you might want to cook with them and teach them and show them how to do it. You may want to show them how to clean their bedroom or something. So there's a time for instructing, there's a time for teaching. But teaching is not only in the school, as I said. Teaching is also at home. So please spend time to teach your children. The Bible says, teach your child in the way that they should go. And when they grow, they will never depart from it. It doesn't just say, tell them, but teaching. So it's hands-on, it's practical, it's leading by example. The last one is counsel your children. And you can do this, but we also have experts. I'm sure many of them have logged in onto the call, or I will send you contacts after the call, counseling your children because they're going through so much. As they grow, they keep evolving. As they keep evolving, their bodies are changing. People are speaking to them, oh, you're so tall. Oh, you're so short. Oh my God, you look so dark. Oh my God, you've put on so much weight. People are speaking into your children all the time, and you need to be there to counsel them. You need to be there to support them. They're going through adolescence, they're going through body changes, they're going through bullying, they're being teased at school. And I can tell you, you can't control what other children or other adults do to your children. The only person you can control is your child, how they react to it, and how you have empowered them to deal with external forces. So that is the counseling that I'm talking about, of speaking to them about issues of the heart, matters of the heart that may be concerning them. That would be the best thing for a parent to do, but where you need additional help, you can always seek additional help. And there are lots of resources that I can share of people who have really safe spaces, counseling sessions, teenage classes, where they just speak to young people about the things affecting them. So that is the guiding. I don't know if you have any questions. I want to just pause for questions because I don't want to talk too much. So if you have any questions before I move on to the last area. Any questions at this point? One or two on loving your children, on guiding them? Do we have any questions? You can always unmute, I think.
Yes, Brian has a question. Please go ahead and ask.
Okay. Go ahead, Brian.
So Brian asks, his question goes, how can he communicate his feelings to his parents?
Okay. So I'm assuming then, okay, we're all children, so maybe Brian is a young adult or a child. Um, just to respond to that quickly, because I've spoken about communication, I've spoken about love. I think
Excuse me.
yes, yes.
He's an adult, he's a grown up.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay, okay, okay. He's a grown up, and he's asking how he can communicate his feelings. So communicating to your feelings to your parents, one, show them love. And love can be practical. Show them love because people understand love differently, but love is also practical. Love can be gifts. Love can be conversations. Love can be time, spending time. Yesterday was Mother's Day. So just going to spend time with your parents is a way
Father,
that you can
for the bus, I will pass by you.
is a way that you can show
How
them
much?
love.
Let me
Okay.
wait.
You can mute. I don't know who. Okay, so showing love to your parents, tell them African parents maybe sometimes don't understand I love you, but you can also show them in different ways, communicate to them in different ways. You might not necessarily say the word I love you, but by your actions and spending time with them. Okay, thank you, Brian, for that question. So let
Um,
me, yes,
I also have a question, by the way, but this is going to somehow relate with Brian because he
mm-hmm.
says he's 28, but
Okay.
but can't tell if his parents love him. So my question is, um, we have some parents that never received love, and then it is hard for them to also pass on love to their children. How can you show love to a parent who is distant and avoidant?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sandra. And I think, yeah, that's what I spoke about earlier. Like, parents have been brought up differently. Our parents were brought up in a different time, you know? The way we love our children now, or we hope we love them, is so different from the way we were loved. Because many times our parents faced their own hardship. They're just looking for school fees. The most they think of is if I've paid fees, then that's it, you know? So we've all grown up in a really, really different way. But our role as children is to continue to love our parents, whether our parents are responsive to our love or not. So we don't love them because they love us. We love them unconditionally. And if you go to Corinthians, as I pointed out, it's unconditional love. Whether they love us or not, we continue to show them love. And I'm very sure that the reward will come, maybe not through our parents, but through other people, through the love we receive from others around us. So just to encourage all of us on the call, no matter how we were loved, it's an opportunity to do things differently and to say that if my parent didn't love me and didn't show love, I'm going to show love to them. I'm going to show love to the people I interact with. I'm going to show love to the children that I have, or the children that are under my care. So show love practically through your actions, through what you do, through the words you say, through the time you spend getting to understand and know people. All right,
Okay.
let
Um,
me move on.
sorry, we have one more question. Can you take one
Okay,
more
thank
question?
you. Yes, yes.
Rachel asks, what is the right stage to start talking to her children?
To start talking to your
To
children?
her children, yes.
Okay. It depends on what, but the right stage is from your pregnancy, from pregnancy, because children feel and read body language. I remember my doctor, and I think my sister is on the call. Our gynecologist used to tell us, play music, be happy when you're pregnant. Otherwise, it can even affect the way your child's emotions. So start talking to your children from from birth. Keep talking, keep talking. They pick up, they listen, they understand, keep talking to them. Only what I would say is there's certain things which are age appropriate. So if we're talking about, for example, preteen, puberty, some of those are age appropriate. But now the age for speaking to children has even gone down because of the things that children are being exposed to. And it's always best that children hear things from you and not hear them from TV, from YouTube, from TikTok, from fellow friends, you know. So always talk to your children. Just make sure that it's age appropriate for them. And we can get into the details on what specifically. All right, let me go on so that I finish the slides because I think time has not been good for me. So we talked about guiding your children, and I said three things you need to do is the instruct, the teach, and instruct, teach, and the counsel. So these are practical activities that you can do this holiday just with your children. Create rules. So you want to instruct, that's fine. But you can sit around with your children and say, okay, guys, this thing of gadgets has become too much. Let's agree what time do we put gadgets away? Yeah? Sit down to the children and say, the sleeping has become too much. Let's agree what time are people waking up and what time are dishes done. So you can create those rules together. The children will respect them, and it should be from discussion. But as I said, sometimes you need to use your authoritative skill. Otherwise, if it's voting and you have 5 children and they say, let's wake up at midday, you definitely be outnumbered. But sit down, create rules together as a way of giving them instructions. Discuss key topics or key things that you think are important for your family and may be affecting your children in one way or another. Teach them, teach them, teach them, teach them. That's what I would say. Okay, so let me move from this slide to I shared this verse already. Train a child in the way they should go. It's Proverbs 22:6. And also there's Deuteronomy. You can read those scriptures and I'll share them with you after. So the last thing that I want to share with you on our intentional parenting journey, I've shared with you about loving your children, and I've shared with you about guiding them. And the last one is to prepare them intentionally. And this is the same as teaching, but I want to elaborate on preparing them intentionally. And I'll give you an example of what happened to me in the last 4 years. So 4 years ago, it's actually 4 years, yes. 4 years ago, my son finished his A levels, and it was time for him to move to university. And I remember thinking in those last few days of his S6 VAC, I remember thinking, oh my God, I have no control over my child now. To some extent, he's 18, he's leaving the house, he's going to his own room, he's going to be away from home. I cannot tell him what time he's supposed to enter his room. I cannot tell him what he should eat. I cannot tell him to clear up his room. There's so many things I realized that I no longer have control. Before a child is 18, they're under your roof, you have full control, you're watching them, you're guiding them, you're instructing them, you're teaching them. But when they're 18, they no longer are in your home most times. So how do we equip our children for a life without us managing it or micromanaging it? How do we equip our children for a time when we're not there? How do we equip our children for a time they may need to live with others? I always tell my children, if you go to stay with other people, what kind of child are you in the home? Are you helping out? Are you doing housework? Are you engaged in conversations? Are you polite to the house help? So how do we prepare our child for that? And this is what the holidays are a great time to do. Equip your child with skills for life, not only academics. Academics can take them so far. Academics can open grades for schools. Academics can open grades for courses, but it doesn't open all the doors. They need particular life skills. So as my son was going off to university, I began telling him, you know what? You may need to cook at university. And he told me, Mommy, I'm not going to cook. I will buy food. I said, no, you need to cook. We had that argument. I said, okay, fine. Go ahead, let's see. I can tell you less than 4 months down the line, he called me. He's like, you know what? I realized that when I buy food, it's cheaper than, sorry, when I buy ingredients, it's cheaper than when I buy food. Because the cost of chicken, you go to a takeaway, let's say, and buy chicken. The cost of chicken, when you buy it in a restaurant, can buy you a full chicken, which you will cook and eat 4 times. So he called me and he said, okay, Mommy, remind me, when do I put in the Royco? At which point do I put in the onions? And it was really funny, but I realized that no, we need to equip our children better, so that you worry about them less and that they can do more on their own. So during this holiday, teach your children to cook, teach them to clean, teach them time management, teach them to budget. We opened an account with one of my daughters, and she saves money and she's excited to go and deposit. Of course, I'm operating it on her behalf, but the bank has that allowance. You operate it on their behalf until they're 18. So it's in my name's care of hers, something like that. So teach them money management. Teach them respect. Prepare them intentionally. The world is harsh. And whatever you don't train your child, if you don't train your child, the world will teach them. So let's prepare them intentionally. And on that note, there are a number of things that you can do. And I've given some examples there. You'll have time to look at them. Age-appropriate chores, teaching them how to cook, teaching them how to budget, having a simple holiday project with them. Expose them to different things. Expose them to workplaces, expose them to nature, take them out, take them to different places. Don't only take them to places where they jump on a bouncing castle and have their face painted. No, take them to different places. What we used to do as a family is that every year we would choose a charity to support during the December period. And we would support them not only with things from our home, like the physical books and clothes, but we would also go and spend time with the children. We have supported different orphanage, different homes, and it's beneficial for those who we're supporting, but even more beneficial for us who go there because we learn empathy, we learn to associate with different people, we learn challenges that people face. So it's something that we do as a family. And that's something that you could copy, or you could choose something that you feel would expose your children to the realities beyond home. All right, we're almost done. I'll come back to the closing. We're almost done. And just to kind of wrap it up and bring it together. So what can we actually do during these holidays? As I have said, I've said that love your children, teach them, guide them, instruct them, counsel them, but also be intentional and practical by giving them key activities and life skills. And there are many places that you can go, many people who can assist you to give you those kind of skills that you might need. A friend of mine, all her children are in swimming clubs. Swimming or sports also helps your children gain particular skills. They gain teamwork, they gain attention to detail, they gain timekeeping. So swimming is excellent. Music is excellent. They're all different kinds of skills, and I'm going to go through those in a second. Sorry. So what we do, as I said earlier, we focus through Inzani Creative Hub, we focus on the creative skills. There are people who focus on different skills, but personally, I've been more drawn towards the hands-on skills. So whereas your child might do swimming, might do music, I also believe that it's important for them to have hands-on practical skills to learn something with their hands. And so I want to introduce you to a 3-day family holiday experience that we are running as Inzani Creative Hub to support parents in their quest to work with their children, to love their children, to improve their children. And in these 3 days, between now and the 19th of May, we will be working for 3 days with children, especially, and parents on 3 critical areas that are important. 1, do you have a vision for your family? So one of the questions and one of the things that I would like you to look at is, what is your family vision? Where is your family going? Do your children know what you're focusing on as a family? In the next 5 to 10 years, what are you anticipating? What are you looking positively at? So we want to work with you and those who are interested in developing a vision for your family. The second thing that we would like to do, sorry, let me move my slide. So we're going to run a 3-day program, which consists of visioning on day 1, which I have spoken about, developing a vision for your family. Day 2, we want to look at creative projects, things that you can do around your home with your children together, or even on the children on their own. Because what we have realized is children during the holidays spend so much time in the house, on the screen, watching TV. Parents are away. So we want to come into your home. We did this during COVID. I know some of you joined us during our COVID online programs, but we want to come into your home online and give your children creative projects that they can do around the home using their hands. What is the advantage of these projects? These projects build skills that your children may need in the future. But these projects also build confidence. These projects also act as conversation starters. What did you do today? What did you make? How did you feel? How did it go? So we'd like to do creative projects with your children, and we will define those projects as we go on the next topic. One of the things that we've also done, and which is for our family in particular, and I'm sharing it with you, it may work for your family, it may not work, but in our family, we're very passionate about cooking. So we always have a cooking challenge, we always have a cooking day where we have a meal that we're preparing for the day, and different people are doing different things. One is making juice, one is doing salad, one is doing whatever. But what I have found that this does is all the things that I spoke about earlier of understanding your children, spending time with their children, understanding their temperaments. All of this you can see in a simple activity like cooking in terms of, are they patient? Are they competitive? What stories can you talk about when you cook? So we have a family cooking challenge that we will be having next week, and I would encourage you to join. We will send you a recipe, and you make time in your own time and have that meal with your children, and then we will share the pictures and talk about it with different families. So that is our cooking challenge. And lastly, because we're bringing up children, and apologies, I'm going ahead of time, but we're about to finish. Because we are bringing up children in the digital world, content creation, technology, IT is like one of the skills that the children are passionate about. Instead of telling them to put away gadgets, put away phones, yes, manage screen time, but these are tech children. These are digital children. So how can we then turn technology to our advantage? And instead of it being something we criticize, how can we then utilize it? So we're going to have day 3 where we teach the children based on what they know how to use some of these digital gadgets, whether it is their phone, whether it is a laptop, whether it is a tab. We're going to just have a day to talk about content creation. And the goal is to have positive content for them to have positive contribution to content creation. And that is our 3-day package. So I would like to encourage those of you on this call, as you've listened, I know you may be reflecting. I'm about to stop now to hear some of your reflections. What are your thoughts? What are your comments? But I would like to encourage you to plug in to the program that we'll be running. It's a 3-day program, as I said. The first day is visioning. We can do it both with the parents and the children. The second day is a creative project. And the last day is content creation, where we will train you and show you how to use technology to make meaningful content based on what you already know. So why does this program matter? It's really for you to connect to your children, to show them that you love them, to have conversation starters, and to really be intentional parents. So my last reflection: what will your children remember about this holiday? What will they remember? I have told you our schools, especially those in local schools, traditional schools, they are not for the faint-hearted. They are not for the faint-hearted. But you want your child to go back to school with pleasant memories. You want your child to be at school and they're looking forward to coming home because of some of the activities that they did at home. So what will your child remember about this holiday? Will they remember the date you took them on? Will they remember the conversation you had? Will they remember when daddy was in the kitchen and he burnt an egg? You know, all of those bring laughter, bring meaning, and we're connecting with our children so that they're able to relate to us in future, they're able to approach us in future, we're able to be close and hear the things, the positive and negative things happening in their life. So I would like to end there and share with you our vision is to raise grounded and confident children, to encourage creativity and communication, to build healthy families, because families are always under attack by the devil. So we want to build healthy families where parents are able to talk to each other, where parents are able to talk to their children. And thank you very much. I'm going to end there by encouraging those who are interested to sign up to our 3-day holiday program, which will be running. We shall be running it on Wednesday, on Friday, and next week on Monday. I will share the dates. If you have registered here, then I will be able to share the communication. I think I can also share a link shortly in the group. But let me end there by opening it up. The experience, is 100,000 for the 3 days, and we shall have a WhatsApp group. It is all online, and we will share the materials and everything online. I want to stop there and open it up for discussions and any questions. So Sandra, over to you. If there are any questions in the group, or people can unmute and ask any questions or any contributions about what I have talked about. Thank you. Thank you, and I hope that you have benefited and enjoyed the discussion today. Over to you, Sandra, to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Like so much for this session. It has really been educative. So we have Herbert thanking you for the presentation, and he wants a copy of the slide. And we have Brian giving his takeaway from the presentation. He says, "My takeaway from this session is